The first time I saw Anna Miller in 5 years was at my best friend's wedding. She was the bride. I was the best man. My friend, Ethan, pulled me aside, grinning from ear to ear, to tell me their love story. I was the one who saved her from that car crash, he said. Heard she had a fiancé back then, but I flew her out of the country for treatment that same night. Hell of a move, right, man? Ethan was still chattering excitedly, but I couldn't hear a word. A deafening roar filled my ears. 5 years. Nearly 2,000 days and nights. The woman I loved most had been hidden away by my best friend. For 5 whole years. I bent over, gasping for air, my body shaking uncontrollably. Ethan noticed my pale face and quickly helped me into a lounge. "Noah, what's wrong?" he asked, his voice laced with concern. "Is your depression acting up again?" For 5 years, I had searched for Anna. I'd crossed the country, questioned hundreds of people, plastered cities with missing person flyers, and even paid to get her story trending on Twitter. Even her family had given up. I was the only one still looking. Countless nights, I stood on the edge of a bridge, trying to end the despair that was eating me alive. Now, it all felt like a cruel joke. I looked at the network of faded and fresh scars on my right wrist. My eyes burned, and my heart felt like it was being ripped out of my chest. Ethan sighed. "Are you thinking about your fiancée again? Just let it go, man. It's been so long. She's probably gone for good. I'll set something up. Have Anna's best friend introduce you to someone new." Just as he finished speaking, Anna walked in. Her designer wedding gown accentuated her slender waist, and her features were as stunning and vibrant as they were 5 years ago. Our eyes met. She gave me a brief, indifferent glance before turning to adjust Ethan's suit. The bridesmaids followed her, old friends I mostly recognized. When they saw me, their eyes filled with unspoken words. A moment ago, I could have told myself she had amnesia. That's why she didn't remember me. But the looks on her friends' faces told me everything. She hadn't forgotten. She remembered all. She just didn't love me anymore. Ethan quickly said, "Babe, make sure your friends stick around tonight. We're going to have a real party." He shot me a knowing look. Anna nodded casually, not sparing me another glance, as if we were complete strangers. I slowly closed my eyes. It felt like someone had reached into my chest, ripped out my heart, and thrown it into a fire. I had never felt a pain so intense. I desperately needed an outlet for the madness clawing at my insides. I stood up and stormed into the restroom, slamming my head against the wall. A dull thud echoed, and blood instantly streamed down my forehead. My body swayed, my vision blurring. I slid down the wall, a piercing pain shooting through me. I kept banging the back of my head against the tile, as if only that could bring a moment of relief. It hurt so much. It just hurt so damn much. I curled into a ball as a wave of agony washed over my chest, and then I started to laugh. "Anna, so you really don't want me anymore." When I walked out of the restroom, the ceremony had already started. Ethan, understanding my state, had found someone else to take my place. I stood in the back, watching Anna on the stage, sweetly saying I do. Ethan knelt solemnly on one knee, taking out the ring and placing it on her finger. A surge of jealousy ripped through me. I wanted to rush up there, to stop them, to scream at Ethan, asking why he stole my fiancée, why he hid her from me for 5 years. I wanted to ask Anna why she pretended not to know me, why she didn't find me when she came back, why everyone kept this secret from me. I wanted to destroy this wedding, but I didn't. I just sat in a corner, and after they exchanged vows, I was the first to applaud. I clapped so loudly that people turned to stare. I didn't care. I just met Anna's gaze as she looked over. Our eyes locked. My nose stung, and the tears I'd been holding back finally fell. Anna's brow twitched slightly. Then she coolly looked away, her calm eyes devoid of any emotion. I clenched my fists so hard my nails dug into my palms. I thought I was going to lose my mind. I picked up my phone and typed out a text, sending it to her. "Anna, I don't want to wish you a happy marriage. I curse you. I curse you to never get what you want in life." A second later, I laughed at my own stupidity. She had already married the man she loved. My curse was meaningless. I left before the reception ended. If I stayed any longer, I was afraid I would completely snap. 3 years ago, when all leads on Anna had gone cold again, I tried to kill myself. I failed. My neighbor found me and got me to the hospital. When I woke up, my parents were holding my hand, their faces streaked with tears, begging me to live for her. But a world without Anna was too bitter. We met when we were 6 and started dating in high school. Right after college graduation, we had a date set at City Hall to get our marriage license. She got into a car accident on the way and vanished without a trace. I went to the police station countless times, questioned every witness at the scene. No one had seen her. Now she was back, but she didn't love me anymore. I drifted into a restless sleep. When I woke up, my phone was filled with missed calls from Ethan, comforting messages from Anna's mom, and one glaring reply to my text. A single cold word. Piss off. I let out a bitter laugh. So my desperate concern was just another joke to her. I shut myself off from the world completely. I started having sleepless nights, drinking myself into a stupor when I couldn't sleep. I didn't leave my apartment for 10 days. The weight fell off me, my already thin frame looking skeletal. It wasn't until Ethan, unable to reach me, showed up at my door with Anna in tow. I hadn't showered in 10 days and probably smelled. Ethan didn't seem to care. He rushed in, punched me lightly on the shoulder, and started dragging me towards the hospital. I knew what he was afraid of. I pulled my arm away, my expression blank, my tone polite but distant. I'm fine, thanks. I didn't know how to face Ethan, with resentment or with blessings. I couldn't manage either, so my instinct was to push him away. He didn't seem to mind my sudden coldness, just assuming I was in a bad mood. Ethan let out a heavy sigh of relief. Damn it. Noah, answer your phone. What's the point of having one if you don't use it? You have no idea how worried I was. Starting today, my wife and I are moving in with you. We'll take care of you until you're better. And don't even think about saying no. He was serious, his tone firm. He was a warm, loyal guy. It was hard not to like him. More importantly, he clearly adored his wife. No wonder Anna fell for him. I looked at the figure standing behind him. Her gaze was icy. Her almond-shaped eyes narrowed as if looking at a stranger. Even though she was as cold as ice, a universe away from me, I still craved any warmth from her. Even if it wasn't for me. Just to see her for one more day, one more minute, one more second. I don't know if it was my inability to resist Ethan's concern or my own selfish desires, but I let them move in. This apartment was supposed to be my and Anna's home, the one we'd live in after we got married. After she disappeared, I decorated it according to her tastes. The furniture, the layout, everything was her style. Ethan's eyes widened. Noah, your design sense is unique. Why is everything either pink or white? It doesn't suit you at all. Because my world was once filled with love, I said softly. My fiancée liked it, so I decorated it how she would have wanted. Ethan said disapprovingly, a man should have his own opinions. Why cater to her every whim? For our place, my wife listened to me. It looks awesome. I lowered my gaze, a memory surfacing. When we first moved in together, I loved dark-colored sheets. My toothbrush, my bowls, everything was dark. I even bought her dark lingerie, but she never wore it. She refused to sleep on the dark sheets, choosing the floor instead. Eventually, I gave in and changed the colors, and only then did she come back to bed. I stiffened for a moment, then asked almost masochistically, really? Would she sleep on the floor? Ethan, trying to save face, scoffed and glanced at Anna. She wouldn't dare. She even wears black underwear for me now. A flicker of embarrassment crossed Anna's face. She lightly tapped his head, trying to shut him up. What's wrong with sleeping on the floor? If your fiancée would do that over sheets, it just proves she didn't love you enough. And you wasted all those years looking for her. What a piece of work. After a long silence, I agreed with him. You're right. Maybe she really didn't love me enough. As I said this, I felt Anna's gaze linger on me for a second. Her voice was cold. In that case, Mr. Carter, you should have the decency to back off and not disturb other people's lives. If possible, it would be best if you disappeared from her sight forever. Your self-pity is just annoying to others. Anna's words were blunt and ugly. Self-pity. So that's all it was. I couldn't stop my eyes from turning red, my voice trembling. You know her so well. Is it because you're the same kind of person? You like to disappear, make people wait, drain all their hope, and then not even offer an apology. In the end, you call their pain self-pity. All I wanted was an explanation. Were my 5 years of agony just something to be brushed aside? Anna frowned, her temper flaring. No one asked you to wait. Love and hate are voluntary. Since you chose to wait, shouldn't you bear the consequences alone? Or did you expect that because you waited 5 years, she should be eternally grateful and marry you? His words were merciless and final. I stood there stunned. The hope and anticipation I once held shattered in an instant. Tears streamed down my face. Anna's words were like a sharp knife, stabbing me over and over. He was right. Love and hate are voluntary. No one forced me. No one asked me to wait. So I alone should bear this outcome. A once unbreakable bond had now become nothing. Ethan sensed the tension and quickly stepped in to mediate, pulling her into a room. I could hear his hushed pleading. Babe, go easy on him. Noah's not in a good place right now. Don't be so harsh, okay? Don't provoke him anymore. Anna scoffed, her voice dripping with sarcasm. He's just putting on a show. I stood there, numb, not speaking for a long time. The wound on my forehead throbbed, a dull ache mocking my one-sided devotion. After that argument, I rarely saw Anna. Perhaps she was intentionally avoiding me. We lived under the same roof for half a month, but the number of times we met could be counted on one hand. I grew more withdrawn, spending most of my time alone in my room. Ethan, however, was often with me, ordering different kinds of takeout for me every day, reminding me to take my medication. I selfishly wished he wouldn't be so good to me. The better he was, the more I felt like a third party secretly coveting another man's wife, unable to even entertain the thought of fighting for her. But how could I be content? I was jealous of how Anna smiled at him, how she was good to him. I wanted to gouge my own eyes out. I even had the despicable thought that it would have been better if Anna had died out there, so I could at least lie to myself. I started spending more time in the living room, hoping to catch a glimpse of Anna when she came home. But it was as if she sensed it, and she didn't show up for days. I couldn't help but ask Ethan, where is she? He was on the sofa, texting. She hasn't been back in the country for 3 years, right? She has a lot of family stuff to deal with, so she won't be coming over lately. I froze, asking in disbelief. Anna came back 3 years ago? Why didn't I know? Yeah, to plan our wedding. My mouth opened, but no sound came out. My eyes were lifeless, my numb brain replaying that one sentence. She came back. A chill ran through me. I wanted to scream, but all that came out was a hoarse whisper. Ethan's words were like a slap across my face. The next second, he jumped up excitedly. Noah, quick, get changed. We're going to the nest right now. My wife wants me to bring you to meet someone. I just saw a picture. She's gorgeous. He pulled me into my room and helped me change in record time. I let him do it because I wanted to see Anna. When we got there, Ethan immediately sat next to Anna and shot me a look, urging me to be bold. I didn't say anything, just found a quiet spot to sit. From this angle, I could see Anna's every move. I watched as her red lips curved into a slight smile under Ethan's teasing. In the dim light, Ethan's long fingers casually played with the small of her back. Anna let out a small cry and started to playfully bite him. Ethan pinned her hands and kissed her deeply. They were lost in a passionate kiss. I had to look away, my hands hidden under the table, clenching into fists. I lowered my head, unable to hold back the sobs any longer. The tears flowed freely, as if the last line of defense in my heart had crumbled. Anna was the one who had abruptly left, but I was the one trapped in this prison of memories. I suddenly felt a sliver of relief. At least the lights in here were dim, so no one would see my humiliation. I turned my head to look away and unexpectedly met a pair of smiling eyes. Chloe Bennett was beaming, her tone slightly smug. Well, hello there, neighbor. Fancy seeing you out of the bathtub. My eyelid twitched. 3 years ago, she was the one who had someone break down my door, took me to the hospital, and then stayed with me for a week. But she always spoke to me with a sharp, sarcastic edge, which cooled any gratitude I might have felt. After that, even if we ran into each other in the elevator, we wouldn't speak. Chloe continued. We've been neighbors for over 4 years, and you're still pretending you don't know me. I frowned. No, about last time, thank you. A smirk played on her lips. She leaned in and whispered, mimicking my low tone, "Mama, you sure have a short memory. You're only remembering to thank me for something that happened 3 years ago now. Let's see. How much would the interest be? Tell me, how are you going to thank me?" Chloe slid closer, her thigh pressing against my slacks through her dress. I could clearly smell the light fragrance from her. Her voice was playful. "How about you cry in my arms? I'll collect some interest first." My hand trembled. I didn't want to deal with her. Her personality was nothing like her name suggested. I glanced over at Anna's table and found her looking at me, a hint of unmistakable mockery in her bright eyes. I looked down and laughed bitterly. Is this what she wanted? To push me onto someone else just to get rid of me? I mocked my own foolishness. Why did I still hold on to any hope? The answer was obvious. What was I still wishing for? That absurd blind date ended my 5 years of obsession. After the party, Anna privately tossed me a key card to a penthouse suite. A slight smirk touched her lips, her eyes filled with contempt. "You've been lonely for so long. Go on, let it all out tonight. Chloe has a great body. She'll definitely satisfy you." She leaned in closer, her voice dropping to a whisper. "But can you find her sensitive spots?" I stared at her, holding her gaze for a long time. "Anna, I give up. If this is what you want, then I'll do it." I took the key card and went up to the penthouse, into Chloe's room. She was leaning against the headboard, eyeing me. "So, she's the one you've been looking for 5 years." I was a bit surprised, but on second thought, it wasn't strange. Everyone in our circle knew I had been searching for Anna for 5 years. It was no surprise the news reached her. "Yeah." Chloe tossed her jacket off in frustration. "So you're in this pathetic state because of her?" I frowned. "What's wrong with my state? You look like your wife just died." "I rare occasion," I agreed with her. "She did a long time ago." Chloe let out a faint smile, her casual gaze holding a rare hint of seriousness. "Noah, I'm not some good girl. You can use me as your lifeline, but you walked into this room, so you should know what that means." Her implication was clear. I nodded, leaned down, and pressed my body against hers, reaching a climax with her. I had been repressed for too long. The moment I saw Anna at the wedding, the moment I heard Ethan had taken her away for 5 years, the moment I knew she had come back 3 years ago, but let me sink into despair day after day, I'd already gone mad. I let myself go completely, spending 3 days and 3 nights with Chloe in that hotel. I asked myself, do I still love her? Do I still miss her? The answer was yes, I loved her, but I didn't miss her anymore. On the 4th day, Chloe and I got dressed and went our separate ways. When Ethan saw me return, he excitedly rushed over to ask about my battle. I was creative, and so was she. For 3 days, we had explored every position on each other, a perfect match. My body was covered in large patches of red marks and bruises. Ethan's eyes widened. "I knew you were capable, but I didn't know you were this capable. Is there a single untouched spot on her?" I didn't say anything, just felt a cold, intense gaze on me. I met her resentful eyes with a smirk and said to Ethan, "Thank your wife for me. Thank her for making me finally give up." With that, I walked straight to my room. As I passed the living room, Anna shot up, a flame of jealousy in her cold eyes, her face dark and menacing. "You don't need him to thank me. I'm standing right here. You can thank me yourself." I turned to face her and said flatly, "Thank you." Not wanting to get entangled further, I turned to leave. But Anna stepped forward and grabbed my arm. I tried to twist my wrist free, but she held on tight. I was afraid of hurting her, so I didn't use much force. I frowned, signaling with my eyes that Ethan was still here, that she shouldn't go too far. But she seemed not to see, stepping closer, leaning into my ear. "Thank me for finding someone to scratch your itch? Looks like she really wore you out. It must have been tough holding back for 5 years. If she can't handle you, you can always come to me. Don't worry, I'll use my hands. Because I think you're dirty." In an instant, I was plunged into an icy abyss, my heart sinking. Anna showed me no mercy, her words utterly humiliating, making my face burn with shame. She was the one who didn't want me, the one who pushed me towards Chloe. Why could she always be so self-righteous, as if I were the one who had betrayed her? I couldn't take it anymore. I wrenched my arm free and pushed her away. Mindful of Ethan, I kept my voice low. Anna, you keep humiliating me like this because you know I can't let you go, right? Well, not anymore. I'm letting myself go. Seeing me push Anna, Ethan rushed over, stepping between us, his tone sharp. Noah, why did you push my wife? Looking at Ethan's protective stance, I felt a deep sense of powerlessness. I turned and went back to my room, but I could still faintly hear his stern questioning. Didn't I tell you not to provoke him? He's been on edge lately. But what on earth did you say to him? And why were you so close? I'm your husband. Anna didn't answer for a long time, her eyes fixed on my retreating back. Because I had pushed Anna, Ethan barely spoke to me for days. My feelings for him were complicated. He was my best friend. On countless nights when I wanted to end it all, he stayed up with me, flew back from trips just to watch over me, worried I'd do something stupid. He hadn't seemed to wrong me, yet he had hurt me the most. My 5 years of hell, my despair and helplessness, were all thanks to him. Because he wanted Anna, he took her from me for 5 years. He pursued her knowing full well she had a fiancé. In the end, who really invaded whose world? I'm not a magnanimous person. I couldn't wish him well, and I didn't want to be their third wheel anymore. So, when Ethan mocked me again for pushing Anna, I said it plainly. You guys should move out. Ethan was stunned for a moment. Then he exploded. You're kicking me out just because I said a few words to you? All those days I spent taking care of you meant nothing? You were wrong to lay a hand on my wife in the first place. I let it slide, and now you're pushing your luck. Noah, is your damn head screwed on right? No wonder you're depressed. No wonder your fiancée left you. If she were with you, she wouldn't be able to stand your crap either. I didn't say anything, just let him vent. It was better this way. Let him yell at me, and the last bit of guilt I felt towards him would vanish. I waited until he was done, then said softly, Ethan, let's not see each other again. Please move out today. Without waiting for his reply, I walked out and went next door. It was laughable, really. In the past 5 years, I had alienated all my friends because they all thought I was crazy. Except for Ethan, no one bothered with me. I knocked on the door, expecting to see Chloe, but a shirtless man answered. He looked half asleep and grumbled, Who is it? I paused for a second, then asked, Is Chloe here? He pointed inside. Sleeping. You coming in? I was at a loss for words. I knew Chloe wasn't short on men, but for her to be with someone else while she was with me, I couldn't handle that. I would keep my distance. No, it's fine. I hurried downstairs, realizing with a pang of sadness that I had nowhere to go. During the 5 years I searched for Anna, my parents begged me to give up. I wouldn't listen, so they stopped trying. And my only home was now occupied by 2 people I didn't want to see. My phone kept ringing. I glanced at it. Most of the calls were from Ethan, with one from Chloe. I didn't want to answer. I opened iMessage. Ethan had sent several 60-second voice messages. He knew I wouldn't listen, so his last message was text. You scare my wife and my baby. Come back and apologize, and I might forgive you. He was offering an olive branch, but I didn't want to take it. After a moment, I calmly typed one word, Get out. Should I congratulate them? I couldn't. Not in 5 years, not in 10, not until the day I die. I could never forgive them, let alone bless their child. If I could forgive everything, my 5 years of suffering would become a joke. I stayed out until 3 in the morning before going back. Ethan hadn't moved out yet. I showered and lay down in bed, and Chloe's call came through. I hesitated for a second, then answered. It's late, I said flatly. Let's talk tomorrow. Since she had another man, there was no need to continue. Chloe laughed. You had no problem using me earlier. Now you want to wait? You ungrateful jerk. You get what you want, and then you try to run. Her words left me speechless. After a moment's thought, I put on a jacket and went out. Chloe was leaning against the wall, a cigarette between her slender fingers. When she saw me, she dropped the cigarette and pulled me into the stairwell. She pushed me against the wall, yanked off my jacket, and her kisses trailed down my throat. My breathing grew heavy. Just as she was about to go further, I stopped her wandering hand. If you have other men, don't come to me. I'm not used to sharing. She persisted, her actions not stopping, her words muffled as she kissed me. Who do I have? I pursed my lips, unsure if I should tell her what I saw today. If I didn't, she wouldn't stop. If I did, I'd feel like a petty man. I wasn't her boyfriend. Why should I care about her other partners? As I hesitated, Chloe spun me around, my back to her. She deftly unfastened my pants, her tone teasing. Were you jealous when you saw someone else at my place today? I was taken aback for a moment. So she knew. Then I shook my head. Not jealous. I just don't like sharing a body that I find quite satisfying. She narrowed her eyes, then let out a short laugh. I'm quite satisfied with your big toy too. My face flushed. Before I could say anything, she was pulling me towards her apartment. It was nearly dawn when I finally left Chloe's place, only to find Anna sitting on my sofa. She hadn't turned on the lights, and the living room was pitch black. I could only make out her dark silhouette in the moonlight. I was surprised, but said nothing. It was too dark to see her expression, but I could feel her eyes on me like two sharp daggers, as if trying to bore a hole through me. In the silent room, I could faintly hear the sound of knuckles cracking from a clenched fist. She shot up from the sofa, walked over, and stood before me. Her voice was sharp, brewing a storm. You did it again? Noah, are you that desperate for a woman? I felt like I had heard the biggest joke. When she gave me the key card, didn't she know what would happen? I looked up at her. The close proximity allowed me to see the crazed look in her eyes. After a long moment, I slowly opened my mouth. Anna, did you come back 3 years ago? This question had been haunting me, and I couldn't hold it back any longer. I had to know. She avoided the question, her eyes filled with resentment. I asked you if you slept with her again. Can you die without a woman? Don't you understand? Even though I married Ethan, it doesn't mean I don't love you. If you want it, you can tell me. I'll satisfy you. Why do you keep going to Chloe? With that, she pushed me onto the sofa and pressed her body down on mine. I frowned, but before I could question her, she crushed her lips against mine. She kissed me desperately. I kept my mouth shut, refusing to respond. She was insane. Ethan was sleeping in the next room. If he opened the door, he would see this scene, and Anna didn't seem to care at all. For a moment, my mind reeled with hesitation and conflict. The pain I had suppressed for so long sparked a momentary desire for revenge. The suffering I endured, shouldn't she experience it too for it to be fair? I raised my hand to deepen the kiss, but in the next second, I righted the tipping scales of my conscience. Ethan should not become the next me. I turned my head to speak, and at that moment, the living room lights flashed on. I looked over. Ethan was standing quietly at the bedroom door. I don't know how long he had been watching. The air turned deathly silent. Anna silently got up, wiped her lips, and a small smile played on her face, as if she didn't care at all. Why are you awake? Ethan's gaze, laced with venom, fell on me, then shifted to Anna. He sneered. Did I wake up a bad time? Did I interrupt something important? He turned back to me. Haven't I been good to you? You're even going after my woman. She's pregnant with my child. I was so worried something would happen to you that I brought my new wife to take care of you. And this is how you repay me. I knew this day would come, but I never imagined it would be like this. I had to admit, while I wasn't happy, I didn't feel much guilt either. I stood up, my gaze calm. I never stole your woman. You stole mine. My denial only enraged him further. Ethan stormed towards me and punched me in the face. You think I'm blind? If you're so pent up over your dead fiancée, go find Chloe. What the hell are you doing in the living room in the middle of the night? You think I don't know what you're thinking? He put all his strength into that punch. Blood trickled from the corner of my mouth. I licked the inside of my cheek, the taste of blood filling my mouth. I looked at him, wanting to hit back, but I lowered my raised fist. Let this punch be payment for the help he gave me during those 5 years. I lifted my eyes to Anna, a mocking smile on my face. Aren't you going to comfort your husband? She glanced at me, then at Ethan, a flicker of shame in her eyes. Let's go home. I'll explain. Ethan's face was grim. Explain what? What explanation could make me forgive this double betrayal? You're the woman I love, and he's my best friend. Did you ever think about today, when you were sneaking around behind my back? I chuckled softly. Double betrayal. Wasn't I also doubly betrayed by you two? No, it's different. I was deceived, kept in the dark, and played for a fool for 5 years without knowing. Hearing my words, Anna frowned, as if afraid I would say something I shouldn't. She grabbed Ethan and left. The tense atmosphere in the living room instantly became silent. I wasn't the one in the wrong. I had endured so much. But why was I always the unlucky one? Since they left, Ethan and I haven't spoken. I packed his things and mailed them to him. I didn't try to find out anything about Anna, nor did I know how she would explain what happened between us. As for Chloe, I briefly told her what happened that night. She made me brush my teeth for 3 hours until my gums bled and my mouth was so full of toothpaste I couldn't taste my food. I didn't want to do it, but she just stood there silently, squeezing more toothpaste onto the brush. Get clean. I can't stand the smell of her on you. Not a trace. I sighed but did as she said. Chloe and I moved in together. On moving day, I saw Anna downstairs. I hadn't seen her since she and Ethan left last week. It was strange. I couldn't forget her for 5 years, but in the past week, I hadn't thought of her once. I looked into her eyes. They were slightly red, filled with a mix of resentment and pain. Anna's voice was hoarse. I came back 3 years ago. I came to find you, but Chloe answered your phone. Noah, in that moment, I hated you so much. I was only gone for 2 years, and you already had someone new. So I left again. When I saw you at the wedding, I felt a sudden sense of satisfaction, so I agreed to marry Ethan. I lowered my gaze, my voice cold. Do you want to know why she answered my phone 3 years ago? She stared at me, something catching in her throat, waiting for my answer. I looked at her and said, word for word, I had depression. I tried to kill myself. Because I couldn't find you, I slit my wrists in the bathtub. I wanted to be with you. It was Chloe who had someone take me to the hospital. I was there for 10 days. Anna stared at me, her face a mask of disbelief. Her pregnant body trembled slightly. After a long moment, she opened her mouth, but her voice shook too much to speak. Noah, will you wait for me again? I am pregnant. He saved my life. I can't leave him now. After the baby is born, I'll divorce him. We could go back to how things were. No. I smiled and shook my head, rejecting Anna. We're in the past. I'm slowly moving on. I hope you never appear in my life again. Anna, it's too late. If you had just looked at me at the wedding, asked me if I was okay, I would have waited for you without a second thought. But not now. Anna left. Just as I wished, she never appeared again. I felt the apartment had bad energy, so I moved with her to my private villa. She asked me why. I had just thrown all my pills in the trash. I raised an eyebrow, a roguish look on my face. It's too dark there. It doesn't suit me anymore. I don't need to take that useless stuff. Seeing the faint smile on her lips, I smiled too. When Anna was 3 months pregnant, Ethan contacted me again. I thought about it and agreed to meet him. I hadn't seen him in nearly 2 months. He didn't look much different, still as arrogant as ever. The look he gave me was dark. He spoke first. I know everything. Anna is the fiancée you were looking for 5 years. He paused, then continued. If it were anyone else, I wouldn't even apologize. It's their own fault for not being able to hold on to their love. I was just fighting for what I wanted. I don't think I did anything wrong. But it was you, Noah. I don't want to apologize to you. I pursued your fiancée without knowing. While my methods were a bit unethical, if I can't get your forgiveness, Anna won't talk to me. I love her very much. I slowly lifted my eyes, my gaze calm. Your business has nothing to do with me. Ethan clenched his fists, his voice softening for the first time. I'm sorry. I love her. My child can't be without a mother. As long as she has the baby, she's tied to me for life. Even knowing your past, I still don't want to give her up. I saved her. As long as I don't mention divorce, she'll never leave. For the sake of the 5 years I helped you, please forgive me. I didn't speak, just looked at him for a long time. In my memory, Ethan was cheerful and loyal. He once boasted that he would never be driven mad by love for a person. This was the first time he had humbled himself, all for Anna. I once loved Anna so deeply it drove me mad for 5 years, and for that, I hated Ethan. But now he was just like I was back then. Anna had become his obsession too. I gave him the apartment. It was decorated to Anna's taste, and I no longer needed it. Consider it a gift for their child. Forgiveness? I don't think I could ever forgive him. A year later, Chloe and I got married. The weather was perfect on the day we went to get our license. A 30-minute drive took me an hour and a half. Several times, she looked like she was about to yell at me, but held back. At City Hall, a process that should have taken 10 minutes, I dragged out for nearly half an hour. She finally lost her patience. If you don't want to do this, then don't. I smirked, annoyed myself. I'm trying to savor the experience, and I get yelled at. She took a deep breath and let me be. When we walked out of City Hall, I had a warm, red certificate in my hand. I felt a momentary daze. The last time I was here, I was waiting for news of Anna's accident. 6 years later, I was back, marrying someone else. 2 years later, Chloe gave me a daughter. I adored her, naming her Joy. She once asked me if there was a story behind the name. I looked at her for a long time and teased. It's because you bring me joy. She smiled. You bring me joy too.